leading rides up a mountain in Greece for a week with guests at a resort. So that was a nice way to spend the week working.
Does work help?
I think having a focus on things that you enjoy or things that require focus it keeps you in the moment. And I think with a stage 4 diagnosis, the worst thing you can do is try and look into the future or have those moments to predict the future, because none of us know, what's going to happen in the future. So it's about bringing yourself back to the present, whether it's working, whether it's enjoying yourself with your family, your kids, with friends, exercising, whatever the activity is, keeping yourself in the moment and recognising that's all any of us have, not just stage 4 cancer. Survivors, it's people who are, everybody. We have the moment and that's it.
Couldn't agree more. And Mel, I've been following you because you are in training at the moment. You're also living with stage 4 cancer. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really well, actually. I feel like cycling is really invigorating me. I'm so proud of what I can do now. I started off with 2.8 miles in my local park, avoiding geese and ducks and children and other cyclists. And this week, my partner and I cycled 17 miles. So, yeah, it's going really well. I'm enjoying it. I'm full of vavavum and energy. And, yeah, it's great. It's a great thing to be doing.
I'm interested because you seem to me like maybe someone who already had that vavavum and energy before you heard about what Chris is planning. Were you already in that mindset, or has Chris brought you along with him?
I think I've always been somebody who embraces life and lives with enthusiasm. But when I actually watched the documentary and read the book, and I think seeing somebody else who lives with stage 4 cancer really showing everybody what life looks like from here and giving an in into what we can do when we are well enough, because not everybody is. It really motivated me to get on board with the Tour de Force when that was announced in, I think it was early February. And I remember saying to Sarah, my partner, my cancer co-pilot, we are doing this and we are doing it in tutus.
Oh, OK.
So, yeah, we signed up straight away. I've been training for 3 months and I need to get to 37.5 miles, but I have no doubt that I'll be able to do it.
You'll get there.
Yes,
You'll be fine.
I will.
You'll be fine.
I will.
You're smashing it.
If Chris Hoy says you'll be fine, you'll be fine. I'm really interested, Chris, we're going to talk about Tour de Force and what that means in some detail. But I'm really interested in when you talk about predicting the future and what's going to come next and how, that only brings fear for any of us, trying to think what's next for us. How do you manage to stay in the moment, to stay in today? What's the trick in your head?
I'm not sitting here saying that I've cracked the code and that I'm able to do it all the time, but what I try to remind myself is to bring myself back to appreciating what I'm doing here and now, whether it's good or bad. So it's not just about saying I'm having a fantastic time on a holiday or I'm riding my bike. I was stuck on an airplane the other day on the runway, delayed, it was hot, busy, noisy, and everybody was understandably a little bit frustrated by it all, and I just had to remind myself, actually, do you know what? This is life, this is great, I'm here. I'm sitting in a comfortable chair. I can look out the window. I'm going to be going somewhere nice soon, and it's just trying to reframe. You can't decide what happens to you in life, but you can decide how you respond to it. So it's just trying to remind yourself of that, and whatever life throws at you, you say, I'm going to choose to respond this way, and not play a victim, but not lie down and just say this is going to happen and it's going to happen to me. It's about saying, no, I'm going to stand up to this and make the most of any situation.
You've always seemed to be a phenomenally positive person, but has this experience of the last few months, has it given you a new appreciation of life, of the little things, even the queuing in the plane and that?
Of course, it has to, and I'm sure Mel, would agree. It's the initial reaction for me certainly was to think about big things, bucket list things, things I haven't achieved, things I want to achieve. But then actually, within a few weeks, you realise actually it's appreciating the small things. And I really wanted, with the Tour de Force, to have this platform that we have now to say, look, a stage 4 diagnosis is something that can come out of the blue like it did for me. It's devastating. And there's no other way of putting it. It's shocking, it's horrifying. But once the dust settles, once you've received that news and you recognise what you can control and what you can't control, you've got to get on with living your life. And I think it's the same for all of us, not just cancer, people who are living with cancer. I think it's all of us have to recognise this is life now. Make the most of it. And so the Tour de Four, we're showing what stage 4 cancer, people living with stage 4 cancer can do and what they can achieve, bringing the community together and hopefully raising a lot of money too.
And Mel, obviously you're going to be cycling.
Yes.
There are various levels of the race, aren't there? There are various challenges, I guess, you can take on. What are you going to do?
I'm leaving Chris to do the red one, which I think is
57 miles.
57.
Yeah.
I'm going for 37.5 miles.
Which is still plenty.
It's plenty when you have a history of zero cycling. You know, my only exercise was dancing in the kitchen and yoga. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what I can do. You know, it's really thrilling to see what my body is capable of. My lungs, my heart, my nervous system, my cells, they're all working together. I think probably for the first time since my diagnosis, which was in 2020. So I think it's quite profound. It's also helping me to heal and to see that my body, I can trust my body, and my body is capable of remarkable belongs to hospital. Because when you've got cancer, you can very much feel like your body is just something that isn't anything to do with you anymore, actually. It's something that goes in scanning machines and had blood tests and operations and goodness knows what else. And actually, on the bike, I feel like my body is, you know, working well, and I can achieve this thing and raise awareness. I'm doing it for Roy Castle Lung Cancer Foundation, a charity really close to my heart. They were really there for me when I finished all my grueling surgery and chemo and everything else. And actually, people want to follow my cycling antics and my cancer story. It's on Instagram @mylovelylungs, because they still are lovely, even though I only have 1.5 of them. So yeah.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Chris, how is daily life for you now? I mean, you talked about still working, but I guess there's drugs and treatments and hospital visits, all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, it's all part of life. It's amazing how quickly you adapt to it, and it just becomes part of your weekly or daily routine. But yeah, I'm on constant treatment now for the rest of my life, which you just accept and you get used to. But blood tests,
like tablets
scans,
and stuff.
Tablets, yeah, and you know, injections and things that you just accept because they're keeping you alive, and you know, it's part of the routine. But yeah, I mean, I'm busy. I'm racing at Le Mans next week. I'm doing one of the support races for the 24-hour race. We've obviously got the Tour de Four, which people can still sign up for. We've got up to 5,000 places for that. So tourdefour.com.
Just remind us of the route for that.
Yes, so it starts in Glasgow. And the red route, as Mel was saying, is 57 miles. It goes up into the Campsies. Stunning, beautiful scenery, even on days like that where it's a little bit cloudy. But it's starting at the velodrome, and
your velodrome.
Well, yeah, it's got my name on the side of it, which is nice, very nice. And there's the blue route, which is 37 miles, a little bit less climbing. But we also have stationary bikes in the track centre, and these are set up with a kind of virtual platform, and anybody can sign up for 1 minute to 20 minutes and come down. So even if they're really not physically that able at the moment, they can still feel part of it and still raise money and still show that they've. You can still be active, and there's so much data and so much evidence to show that physical exercise can have a really positive impact on cancer prognosis and and treatment, effectiveness of treatment.
Well, there's a story on the front page of some of the papers this morning that we've been mentioning. It's a study that's come out of America about how, in some cases, exercise can be better than drugs. Treatment in terms of physical recovery and mental health.
If you could have exercise as a pill, it would be hailed as a miracle drug. And it's, and I think people might go, well, you would say that you're an ex-Olympian and, it's been part of your life, forever. But actually for anybody, and we're not talking about cycling up mountains, 20 minutes of exercise 3 times a week, structured exercise that you have. And I think having something to aim towards as well makes it easier. I'm sure you would agree. Having the Tour de Four to train for must give you some, get up and go, an incentive to get out and ride.
It's really motivating. And I also use an app that tracks my rides. And the thrill I get when I get a little medal or like, go Mel, you did your longest ride, your highest climb. But like you say, even if it's going to the park for a walk, getting out into the fresh air, cycling around the block, there's something really instinctive about cycling. You know, we've been doing it since we were 5. And if you've got a rusty old bike in the shed, get it out. If you're well enough, check with your oncologist first. I did. Spoke to my oncologist to make sure he was happy. And he said, you know, you'll be cycling further than I can. So it's something that we can do if we're well enough. But I'm really aware that some people
Some messages coming in from people who are interested to find out more about the Tour de Force. You'll be glad to hear. Also messages from people who've heard your story over the last few months and wanted to pass on a message. A message here from Martin to you, Chris, who says, thank you so much for highlighting the issue of prostate cancer. I thought I was a healthy 74-year-old, but I was spurred on to get tested for the disease after hearing Sir Chris's terminal cancer diagnosis. No symptoms, apparently, but I'm so glad I took that step. He has had a cancer diagnosis. This Wednesday, he's having another appointment. He's having an operation. But he said, if it hadn't been for Sir Chris Hoy going public over his own situation, my disease would have been silent and progressed to the next stage, and it wouldn't have been treated successfully. Thank you, Sir Chris.
Wow. Yeah, you can't really explain how much it means to hear that people, off the back of your own diagnosis, are getting checked themselves. And it's what spurs me on in many ways, because I have this platform. You know, not everybody can come and sit on the BBC Breakfast sofa and talk about these issues. So I have this chance to do it, and therefore it's a privilege to have this chance and to hear stories like this one here. Sorry, from who was that?
Martin.
From Martin.
I mean, he's basically saying you could have saved his life.
Well, yeah, good for you, Martin. Thank you for going and getting checked out. You know, I get messages like similar to that fairly regularly, and it lifts you up. It really does. But anybody can go on to, you know, online risk checker. 3 questions, 30 seconds. You Google it. It's just online prostate cancer risk checker, and you can find out if you're high, medium, or low risk. And if you're high risk, you go to your GP, ask for a PSA test. It's that simple, a quick blood test, and you can take it from there.
Chris, it is great to see you. And Mel, thank you so much, both of you, for coming in. And we will be following all your training in the lead up to that big race. Race? Is it a
Ride.
race?
It's a ride.
Ride.
Yeah.
It's always a race, isn't it, Chris?
You're going to be racing.
Well,
Yeah.
racing myself. Maybe,
Yeah, perhaps. Great to see you both. Thank you.
Thank you so
both
much.
so much. And Sir Chris Hoy's book is called All That Matters.
And it's out.